What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. Let us know you can see us and hear us, and we'll get started with the show. We have a special guest here today. All right. Loud and clear. Thank you, Deucer. Very good. Very prompt, as usual. Welcome to Hellbent Holler Live. My name is Jesse. This is Joe. We're excited to be here today.
We are excited to be here today.
We're getting closer to Christmas, and we are very, very stoked about it. This is our weekly show we do every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It is an impromptu. Well, it's not really impromptu. We've been doing it for 101 episodes.
We don't come prepared, though, so it's pretty impromptu as far as that goes. Yeah. So.
It's unscripted, live, fly by the seat of your pants, just a free-form discussion that we have with the audience, with our viewers, with everybody. And we discuss all topics from creepy little drones flying over our eastern seaboard to cute little beavers in Santa hats to Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, all of that stuff. So let's dive right into it. Let's have a good time and have at it. I'm hoping you guys are having a good Christmas season. We are. We are done getting everything ready for Christmas because there's two of us. So we're very happy about, just kind of ending the year and starting next year and kind of going at it pretty hard, right?
I mean, doing this stuff, Christmas gifts are very easy to do. It's all like research equipment. You know what I'm saying? So, we're looking at, I got some new batteries. That's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You've got some stuff under the tree that's going to come in handy with the channel, but makes it easy to buy. Curtis Whitaker leading us out the gate again this week. Does not have buyer's regret yet.
Not quite yet. Not quite yet.
All right. So
thank you, Curtis. That is awesome.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then Raven Courtney joined the membership. Became a YouTube member. Welcome to the memberships.
Very
Raven.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you, Raven.
A couple quick things. Andrew, hi. From Mark Safe from Alien Abduction. Things are so crazy over here.
Great Britain.
Andrew is in he's in Great Britain.
Sweet.
And they're still having it's been kind of eclipsed in the news over here because of all of the, they're not even really just on the East Coast anymore. They're all over the place. But they were big news until it started up here. And now everybody's worried about our alien abduction and invasion going on.
We do have a correspondent live on the ground. Lady Wolf is in New Jersey. I'm hoping we can send her out to the Jersey Shore for a live report.
You know what we ought to do? I don't know if we could convince her to get on camera or not.
That would be really cool.
Send her out there. She's too crazy. Lady Wolf's too volatile. She'll start an intergalactic war. You know what I'm saying? That'll be it. That'll be it for us.
She'll just take off her shoe and throw it at a drone or something.
Yeah, man. And take one down somehow. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
That's who we want representing us, man. They're gonna go. All right, listen. Don't want any problems. I vote for a live report from Lady Wolf.
She said she just might.
Oh, Lordy. So anyway, so we've got a lot of stuff going on. We released a field investigation video last week.
We did that on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, I think
it's a blur.
Together, man.
It's a blur. Yeah, we did it on Wednesday. We've been kind of out of action on releasing videos. We've been out in the field. Not a lot had happened.
And we got that case, and then the floodgates opened.
As soon as we got that case and we started looking into that case, into that particular location, the floodgates really opened. So we released that video on Wednesday, and that was just kind of the dipping your toes in on the Laurel Creek incident. There is much more to the Laurel Creek incident than that. That is just the beginning of this saga. We're probably going to have a total of 3 or 4 videos in the
as it stands right
now, coming out in the next coming weeks. I've got one I'm working on right now that is our next part that we're really going to expand on this story. We're going to share more information from that crazy email that we received from this lady who was out horseback riding with her husband and had a very, very bizarre encounter. The members have been briefed on this. Joe and I talked about this during a live stream. We've been doing some Appalachian Skywatch stuff live for the members up in the mountains and trying to catch some of these drones or some of these strange lights with our full color night vision camera. But we've been live streaming that for the members pretty much weekly at this point.
Didn't do it this weekend because the weather made it next to impossible.
There is, yeah, you cannot see anything.
We were out there fighting it, trying to keep
rainy.
stuff dry, and it's the cloud cover was too low and too heavy. So,
but we discussed this case on one of those live streams. But in the next video, I'm going to go more in depth on that email and this case because it's definitely a bizarre one. It's a case that is baffling me and angering Joe.
It's ticking me off.
So we definitely had to look into it. If you'll monitor the chat for me.
Yeah, let's chat.
But if you guys, that whole area is just so bizarre. It's primordial in a way. And I think Joe even says it in the video that it's almost mystical. We follow that creek down that way and we keep finding all this strange sign. It gets weirder and we go even deeper on the next video. And I even go after something on the next video. So really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. But it's almost like just a mystical place, you know. It's almost like a gateway to fairyland in a way.
Vincent Ellison said, Road Santa asked for help in Holler merchandise. We did launch that store. We have a few remaining sizes of the Deer logo t-shirts.
I put those back up today because our shipping client is now working on our end.
It's working for right now. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
So for the classic Deer logo, we have here t-shirts that we send out. We have smalls, mediums, large, and extra large left. And those are it for the hand printed ones that we have left. What is on the website right now? That's hellbentholler.shop. I'll put that down here. I'll put it in the chat right now. That's all I have for those left. So if you want to get any of those and you wear those sizes, get those and I'll get those out to you. So.
All right.
I want to thank LW Marshall and Mary Marshall for my Santa Bucky, my Bucky Santa.
We saw them at CryptidCon. He gave us a package. He's like, do not open this until December 1st. So it's been next to on Jesse's side of the bed. She keeps forgetting to bring it in. So tonight
he's making his appearance. All right, here we go. This is the shop right here. We put those t-shirts. We've released the rest of those t-shirts on the shop. And I think in January, I'm going to drop a whole other round of new designs. We've got some
like Fashion Week in Paris.
It's like Fashion Week, yes. I've got some cool ideas. You know, a little hint here. There's going to be some divisions in the Hellbender Army. So that is going to be part of the January design drop that I'm going to be doing. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, I'll let you know.
I say we just get out of the cryptid hunting stuff because it's hard and just start doing t-shirt designs.
Or just t-shirt. Or t-shirt magnates.
Yeah, that's what we'll do, man.
No.
We'll just do clothing from now on. But, you know.
Jeff loves his Hellbent Holler hoodie. We asked Kyle about his because he got his, and he
Kyle
says
from Encrypted Connections.
Very soft and a good. It's a good hood. It's a good hood. So that's what we like to hear. I'm so glad you guys are starting to get your stuff, and it's arriving safely, and you guys are really enjoying it. So I'm really glad about that. Joseph,
I got nothing. I just figured I'd let you do it.
Oh,
anyway.
okay.
But so we released that field investigation video this week. And that is just kind of the I don't want to say opening, but kind of the introduction to this area that we're in. It's we say this all the time. It's weird up there. It's weird in that particular area. It is weirder than what we anticipated.
Definitely.
We are struggling on how to release some of the stuff that we experienced up there because it just seems so damn disjointed and just unrelated. I don't know. We don't know how to just to present it coherently. Is that the best way to phrase it? It's just, we're struggling with it. I don't know. We're struggling with it. There is possible Sasquatch activity up there. There's other stuff going on, and it's been a little difficult to kind of deal with up there.
Yeah.
At this point. But it's the video's been out for almost a week. So if you guys have any questions or comments on it, just drop them in the chat here, and
we will kind of go over some of that.
yeah,
I can't wait for you guys to see the rest of the series. It takes a very strange turn for sure. It started out strange because this email that we received from this woman was very strange. So I'm looking forward to kind of expounding on that and you guys hearing the rest of the story.
It started off strange because it's not a typical.
We can kind of do like a cursory kind of overview if you want to.
Is that going to tick anybody off, or it's all right?
It's up to you.
We'll go ahead and do it. We were contacted by the wife of a couple. They were horseback riding in the mountains, fairly close to here, driving distance from here, and they came around the corner on their horses, and just stereotypical Sasquatch standing there looking at them fairly close by. Here's where it gets weird. She described it that it's making some sound coming out of it. Weird description. Combination between a bee buzzing and a rattlesnake rattle.
Yeah.
And I still think about that a lot, trying to like visualize that sound in my head.
Like, what does that even mean?
Deep, just, and their horses go almost catatonic. Their horses are not scared. They're not spooked. They're not anything. The horses are not really responsive, and they're just sluggish at that point. Now, they say that they did not suffer any effects from it, but they did say that looking back on it, the way they responded was pretty crazy. They weren't yelling. She said, "I'm surprised I didn't scream," but they're kind of whispering at each other almost, even though the thing is like right there. And they felt threatened. It was very threatening. They were very frightened. And then they said the thing just all of a sudden looked startled and kind of like got down a little bit and then just took off. And then the horses were fine and they got out of there. I don't know what to think about any of this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to think about any of this. I don't know. It's confusing. It's a confusing. So we start off from a point of confusion investigating this. The husband has gone back up at least once that we know of. It may have been more often than that. I don't know at this point. But the last we heard, he had gone up once with another person, also on horseback. Husband's driving the same horse, riding the same horse that he rode before. They don't see or hear anything at all. But when he gets up into that same area, his horse starts getting very kind of sluggish again. The other guy's horse is fine. What that means, I don't know. I have no clue what any of this means.
Yeah.
So we were starting off confused on this, and we've just gotten even more confused.
It's definitely gotten weirder and weirder as we've gone along with this. So Bob in Michigan said the audio in the last release was really good. Did you guys upgrade anything?
We're upgrading all the time.
We are always upgrading. It is a constant. It's a constant R&D. There's research and development going on here all the time. Our goal is with every release, every video that we put out, that it is an improvement upon the last one. And that is in terms of equipment and capture of audio and video and how it is presented to you guys. So we are always improving and attempting to improve what we're doing. So Joe is always he's always on the floor with all of these camera parts all around him and trying to rig up all of this new stuff. We're adding in some more microphones so that we don't miss anything at different levels. So we're going into a different experiment.
Because one of the things that always gets me is you have people who supposedly research. I hate the word research because it's so overused. You investigate these things, okay? Because that's basically what we are. We're citizen scientists, and we're basically private investigators, man. We need like trench coats and like a cool hat. I need like a 38 snub nose, But you have people that investigate these things, and you're trying to capture evidence of something that, if it's proven, would change our whole paradigm. It would change the way we view the world around us. It would change how we view reality. And you're out there with like a cell phone trying to capture audio with it. So yeah, we're constantly upgrading on stuff. We will experience something, not be able to capture it, and then we come home and start to work on stuff, start to try to, what can we do next time to catch this? Sometimes it's in vain because sometimes we never experience the phenomenon that we were trying to capture that we couldn't capture again.
Yeah.
But in the case of like strange vocalizations, so far we've been pretty, I'd say, lucky as far as like hearing those. So I think that's time well spent. So
there's been many that we have missed coming up to this point. There's been many that we have missed, and I think that's what's driven this desire to capture audio. There's something about the phenomenon that it seems like it will allow you to some degree to capture audio, but not allow you to capture video. So it seems like people are able to capture audio at a higher rate than they can capture video of whatever these phenomena are. So we've really been focusing on improving our audio setup and really getting good quality captures of these screams, these howls in the distance.
And it's difficult because I always say that if people contact us just going, hey, I'm interested in like, you know, I'm looking into some strange activity in my area. What do I need to do? And I'm always like, stop, focus on the areas that you want to like kind of address. We spend a lot of time looking into field recording, like wildlife biologists and stuff like that, and how they do it. But unfortunately, how they do it a lot of times is, you know, it's not really conducive to what we do it. We're kind of running gunners. We're mobile through the woods. We do set up stationary like listening posts. We have an audio project that we're launching right now where we're setting up recording devices throughout the Southern Appalachian and some hot spots and trying to like, you know, get a really large sample of just potential sound evidence that we can then just kind of go through. But as far as doing it on the move, what you run into is that if you're trying to record something far away, you have to contend with the sounds that are around you. And people will be like, my favorite thing is that you guys are so noisy. Y'all are just so noisy. And I'm going, first off, you're not sneaking up on anything.
Yeah.
Second off, let's just use the couple that just had this sighting, for example. They're riding horses and they were just talking. Okay. They weren't like trying to sneak through the woods when they came upon one of these things. Most people that have encounters or have sightings are just involved in day-to-day outdoor activities, you know.
They're just acting normal. That's one thing that kind of bothers me, that people constantly suggest that we put on ghillie suits and dig holes and
you know what, we might,
and that's fine.
Try that in a particular area where it makes sense.
But most people who have encounters are just going about their daily lives. They're out hunting, they're out fishing, they're out camping, and just going about normal activities, talking, conversing, just existing, and then they're hit with this encounter.
You're not sneaking up on anything out there. Humans are not designed to move through the woods quietly. And even if you're trying to be as stealthy as possible, nothing really moves through the woods quietly at night. I mean, we hear stuff and it sounds, you know, we're like, what is that? It's an aardvark moving through the aardvark. It's a little, what are the little thing? Help me here, damn it. What are the little things, not the aardvarks, that we always see in the woods?
Armadillo.
Armadillo. Good Lord, aardvark. That'd be cool if we saw
you put aardvark in my brain.
I know I did. As soon as I said it, I couldn't get it out. But we'll hear like an armadillo like moving through the woods, and it sounds big, you know. So
that's why I'm glad I have my thermal, and I'm like, okay. And then I see them, and then I know it. I saw one. We had one, and I kind of chased it. I chased it down the road. I was asking it if it would like to buy an extended warranty for its car.
But
trying to get in touch with it.
But it's difficult too, because a lot of times we have been like hiking and moving for sometimes 12 or 16 hours when something happens. So people are like, oh, you guys are breathing too hard. Yeah, I'm breathing. I'm panting. I'm carrying like 50 pounds on my back. I've got a bunch of camera equipment. We've been hiking up and down in the mountains all night long. You can't just all of a sudden stop and hold your breath if something happens. So we're trying to use some different shotgun mics. I'm looking at getting another shotgun mic after the first of the year that would maybe, it's a trade-off. It's going to be better at capturing what's directly in front of it, like most shotgun mics do. But if I don't have it pointed exactly right, we're not going to capture anything. So I gotta toy around with that a little bit. But audio collection is obviously something we take really seriously, and that we try to spend a lot of time doing.
And that's something we're really focusing on. I was thinking too, it's winter, it's really cold. So we're having to layer up a lot too. So, and we have to wear a lot of technical clothing. That's not quiet stuff at all.
No.
I have a big Carhartt jacket that I was wearing in this last video, and I'm walking and I look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on a construction site.
Man. It's
but it's shoosh, shoosh, shoosh the whole time. But
so it's, and the other thing too is that when we were out,
I don't know if you guys noticed too that the shusher became
the shushy at this point. So yeah, we were out and we had on some, I think they're Howard Leeds lights, whatever. They're Impact Sport headphones that we've used a few times before. We don't use them a lot in the summertime because they get hot and they just amplify the insect noise to an annoying degree. But what they do is they amplify sound around you. You've got two little directional microphones. Those don't work the best. It's still hard to kind of tell where the sound's coming from when you're using them, but it was crazy wearing them because at one point we were trying to sneak through the woods and it was so loud with these headphones on, even on like damp pine needles. It was so freaking loud. And it just reinforces to me that, yeah, you're not sneaking up on anything out there. If you see something, yeah, occasionally you might surprise something. I don't know. I think that when you encounter something like these people did, like when we have seen and heard things, it's either showing itself to you or it's ticked off.
Yeah.
It's ticked off that something's in its territory, or it's ticked off that you're there doing whatever you're doing. I would prefer not to approach it like that, but sometimes that's the best thing you can do, man. Just try to take it off. I just don't think that we're outsmarting, or I don't think that we are going to be able to sneak up on anything out there, especially carrying equipment, trying to document this stuff. So, and so far, kind of being kinetic, kind of moving throughout the woods at night, a lot of times I wonder, are we arousing some curiosity in something? Because they're going, well, we see hikers and campers up here. Well, who are these people? Why are they carrying this weird stuff? Let me take a closer look at it. I don't know.
Nutslap says,
of course he does.
Nutslap says, one of my favorite things to say on this show.
Nutslap says.
Nutslap got his cocaine dogman gear, and it's quite fetching. So.
It is quite fetching, yes.
Nutslap says, I can see Joe training on the treadmill carrying all the camera equipment.
I'm telling you, man. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Somebody just said, what happened to the live show? You were watching it right now, my friend. So you were on the live show.
Doing it live.
People talking about Bucky.
Linda Bauer says that area had a lot of structures, that woven structure, arches, etc.
Some of them I'm on the fence about. A couple of them I just looked at and I went, I can't see how that happened just naturally.
Yeah.
The X's, the first one I saw, I'm like, well, that's interesting. 4 X's in, I'm going, there's a pattern you can't deny at that point. And it's, again, this is not, we were obviously not on a hiking trail. We were on an old closed down forestry road at one point.
And then we go off of that and then down to the creek. But, a lot of this we're trying to document. We don't know what any of this means. We don't know if it means anything. This is all stuff that kind of stands out to us. The X's definitely look intentional. They appear intentional. The way that some of these trees are woven together. Some of them are tied together with vines. They are wrapped around with vines and kind of tied together with vines. You've got things that are kind of woven into shapes, pinned down, tree arches. We're just making observations about all these. And it seems like this area has more of these than any other area that we've been to.
I don't know if you included it in this video, but do you have the circle where the branch was bent around to almost a perfect like circle and then woven?
No,
that's in an upcoming
that's in the next one. Yeah.
Well, obviously now that you hear it, we find a branch that is kind of just, it's not a perfect circle. It's a little ovalish, and then it's spun around and then it's tied at the bottom with like vines. And I'm going, what the hell? I mean, it's just obviously something with hands did that. And obviously if something with hands did that, a person could have done that, but you start getting into it going, like why? Like the area we were into was difficult. We like nearly ate it a couple times, you know what I'm saying? And there's nothing there recreationally other than those semi-maintained horseback riding trails that a lot of them are shut down nearby. But, you know, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's got so much weird, and I struggle with tree structures. I struggle with that stuff because I know that you know, things happen just naturally that look odd sometimes. But we've got two trees of equal size bent over, and then another tree pinning them, and I'm looking at that going, I can't tell how this would happen naturally. The X's that we're finding everywhere, it's just weird. That area's got so much weirdness going on up in it, and it's I don't know. It's unlike anywhere else we've really looked into so far. So,
ADP said the structure you find are a trip every time. We just they kind of just stand out to me as I'm going through. You know, Joe was trying to keep up with me, and when I go through the woods, you guys watch these videos. You know what I'm doing. I'm going through the woods and I'm just looking and looking. When I see something pop out, something that doesn't fit with the rest of the environment and looks like something significant, I'll point it out. And we're just trying to document all of these things that we find.
Meanwhile, I'm navigating the world on a
little screen,
on a 2.5 inch by 1.5 inch screen a lot of times. So.
Yeah. Bob in Michigan says the abandoned cemetery was an added bonus. It needs its own research video. Yeah. So the stones that we found in that little plot there, they appear that they are milled stone. They are cut and they're placed there. It looks like that when a tree fell, possibly during this last hurricane that came through, because there was a lot of hurricane damage in this area. It looks like that all of that kind of got uprooted and disturbed. That's why that stone wall was kind of torn up. But yeah, it looks like most of that stone is milled and placed. That's not on any of our maps. We have some old maps of the area that we've found and put together, and there is no cemetery listed there. So it definitely deserves some more looking into. There is no telling in that area, because that's a huge swath of wilderness. There's no telling how many of those hidden little cemeteries, little burial plots there are out there. And they're not designated large cemeteries. It just appears that it's a very small family plot that may have been down by where the homestead once was.
Yeah, and it's that area is so massive. It's so massive. I mean, I still struggle with the idea that there's a breeding population of something almost anywhere in the lower 48 without it being officially discovered. Something would get hit by a car. I don't know. I struggle with that. But then when you're in areas like that, and you're on a mountain peak and you just look and it's as far as the eye can see, there's just nothing but mountains and trees and wilderness. And you just go, maybe, that's when I have those moments of doubt where I just kind of go, it's possible. You're not dealing with an animal at that point. You're dealing with something that's intelligent, that's making concerted effort to stay hidden and has the ability to stay a step ahead somehow.
Yeah. And that has some kind of strategy, is strategizing in some kind of way. Some sort of
prescience almost, to be able to tell that, what it needs to do to avoid detection. But Cowboy 45, any reports of someone who had an encounter while doing their business or in an outhouse? They're out there, but we've never taken one, have we?
I tell you what, I don't want to have that encounter.
Well, your Uncle Joey went by the fire.
He was peeing, yeah.
He was peeing. And he was the one who told us Bigfoot was stupid. And he didn't believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah, so this was in one of Alex's videos. He did an interview with me after we got done with our last Brown Mountain Lights excursion. He wanted to do an interview for his Appalachian Bigfoot series. And so that interview was in that video. That was a few weeks ago, right? A couple weeks ago he released it. My Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about this. My Uncle Joey, he always just told us Bigfoot is stupid. This is so ridiculous. But then you get a couple whiskeys in him. And there was this one time we was camping up. And they were camping in an area. I won't say exactly where it's at, but it's just below the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's in Haywood County, North Carolina. And they were camping up there, and they're by the fire and they're hanging out, and he went to go pee. And so he goes off into the woods a little bit, and he's at the edge of the woods. And he's looking into the darkness, and then there's these just high up to red glowing eyes. So I was like, well, Joe's like, well, what do you think that could have been? Of all the things, what do you think that could have been? He goes, I don't know, but I don't know. So freaked him out, but his whole thing was like, well, I ain't gonna mess with you, you don't mess with me.
I'm not gonna bother. I'm going back to the fire. I ain't gonna bother you, you ain't gonna bother me. And then he just said he didn't want to know what it was.
Yeah.
So. But as far as the rest of those go, I don't know. But what's gonna be crazy now is let's see what sort of emails we get over the next couple of days after putting that up. Somebody's going to contact us and go, I've got a story for you of me trying to do my business and seeing something that should not have existed. So let's see what else we've got here.
We could call it the Outhouse Encounters.
Just kind of a series, the Outhouse Encounters.
I think if any group of people could do the Outhouse Encounters, it would be us.
There we go. So change the name of the channel and everything like that.
That's what we're going to focus on.
James Davies had asked, hi, would you consider using a 360-degree video camera out in the field? We've looked at them before. I don't like how the
image distorts.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we're looking at the next move into camera stuff is going to be, here's where we run into difficulty at, is that filming during the daytime, it's really not a problem, Filming at nighttime, we can either go white light in certain areas or do infrared. Filming in low light, but there's still light, is really freaking difficult to do and not have the image pixelate or blur as you're moving. So we're looking into some low light options after the first of the year. And we were looking at 360, but yeah, the ones I've seen, I'm not happy with how the image looks, because then if it's not a crisp image, then all of a sudden stuff's open to interpretation. And I'm not going to say we're not going to add that in down the road, but keep in mind we're two weirdos with the support of a small number of other weirdos who kind of help us with this stuff.
Yeah,
the Hellbender membership, and we. So we have to kind of strategically get what we're going to get. So maybe down the road, but for right now, our next thing is a portable low light option for that kind of blue hour, dusk, and then at dawn, to try to get it, because we seem to hear a lot of stuff when the sun is setting. And I'm worried that we are eventually going to have a fairly up close sighting in that same time frame, because we hear calls quite often with that, and we are not going to be able to sufficiently document it. That's one of the things that kind of worries me about what we do, because that's our weak spot right now.
Yeah,
not full light, not full dark.
That blue hour is definitely
rough to film in. So
it definitely is.
So we're looking at doing that. So Michigan Girl said, will you try to capture some evidence of the elusive, rarely seen sneaky watcher that they say will be on the move soon? The elusive one they call Santa Claus. We were talking about, and we'll get to the drone stuff here in a bit, but NORAD has that Santa watcher where
Joe has to have that on
watch it every year.
Christmas.
Every year.
Every Christmas Eve, Joe puts that on. He goes, where is he at now?
Yeah, and I'll watch it. And if I get away from it for a few minutes, you can't be away from it for more than 5 minutes. I got to see where he's going to. But we were laughing about it going, how's the drone activity going to affect Santa's sleigh this year?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the
Santa's safety at this point. So I get some F-22s up there.
We're not Santa deniers, like some of you out there.
Tom O'Toole, welcome to the membership. Thank you
Tom
so much.
O'Toole.
Tom O'Toole, thank you so much.
Welcome to the party, pal.
And then followed up by
Encounters of a Third Kind.
There you go.
See, I think that's a show I could host, because I can find them out. I can seek them out. You know what I'm saying?
And James had also said they're impressed by the Bluetooth clip-on mics. That's the whole goal, because when we were running a single microphone, we would either be able to record stuff up close really well, but we would struggle with stuff in the distance. Or we would be able to record stuff in the distance really well, but then stuff up close would get just clip out, just distorted audio. So
we're working on using combinations of microphones.
I look like freaking, I don't even know what's the analogy I need here. Not RoboCop. He didn't have a lot of stuff strapped to him.
Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. I have got stuff strapped to me everywhere. But by the time we get done, now it's got to be accessible and usable and everything. But keep in mind, I'm a one-man camera crew,
like a one-man
audio
band.
guy, lighting guy. because every week we get people
Security.
going, yeah, leave those cameras.
Jesse Wrangler.
Jesse Wrangler is a freaking full-time job and a half. Every week we get somebody going, well, if you left those cameras and just go into the woods and open yourself up, you'll have an encounter. No, I'm not doing that. The whole point of this is to capture the evidence and share it with people, to show people, because we've had people that were on the fence. We had a great comment this past week of somebody going, I've always been on the fence about this, but you guys have slowly won me over. I'm open to the idea that there's stuff out there now. That's the goal for this, is to kind of like move the needle a little bit, try to change. I mean, we have no delusions of, we're just a couple of weirdos with a couple of cameras that are self-taught on a lot of this stuff. But the whole goal is to try to advance this past campfire stories like we talk about. No more of these where you're just gonna have to take my word for it that this happened. Now it's gonna be, this is what happened. This is what we were able to document. This is our supporting evidence. So hence all the crap strapped to me all the time, man. So
Pork Chop has called you Old Strap-on Joe.
Old Strap. Good Lord. Wayne Hewitt had asked, have you ever tried a trail cam? We've tried trail cams. We're blue in the face, man.
They just don't have they don't have a distance on them.
And it's just we've never got anything on trail cams.
No.
The most we got on trail cams are we were on an old forestry road that just wrapped around the side of a mountain, and we were finding like Bigfoot footprints, what looked like Bigfoot footprints up there. So we put the camera hidden over top of this road because one side is just a straight drop off down the mountain. The other side is up the mountain. So we went up and placed it. And then whatever it was using that road went up and around it. It was crazy. I couldn't even replicate it. And that's the most we've gotten, because that's not a deer. Obviously that's not a bear. Not that these look like deer tracks, but it's not a natural animal doing that. And it was hidden pretty well.
Yeah.
You still got that footage? I mean, busting my butt trying to get up there, trying to get it out in the snow.
It's beautiful footage because it's in the snow. Because we were up there the second time in some serious snow, and we actually got trapped on the mountain for a little while because a bad storm came in. We had to try to get down. But I still have that footage.
We've just never had luck with trail cams. It should be I talk about this all the time. It should be biologically impossible for a warm-blooded creature to see infrared. But there's something to it. There's something to the fact that these entities, creatures, whatever you want to call them, can detect infrared light somehow. That's why we've gotten some of our best, if you want to call it video evidence, on thermal, because the thermal doesn't emit anything. We got some cool thermal stuff that's coming up from this latest area that we're in right now.
Yeah.
Some of it is indicative of maybe Sasquatch in the area. The one thing, I don't know what the hell it is. And I know that's like a teaser, but like leave it as a teaser for right now, because we're still trying to figure out we're trying to figure out what it is. So.
Yeah.
JDM Beats, would you consider riding those e-bikes?
No.
If we had like
paved
trails
roads
or pavement, that would be great. But we usually do it nowadays every time we're out. Well, a lot of the areas we're in are not maintained. There's either no hiking trails there, or old forestry roads, old Forest Service roads are like our bread and butter. They're the best thing ever.
And especially since the hurricane came through here, and we operate in North Georgia, the northern part of South Carolina, and western North Carolina. And that is the corridor that got just slammed by Hurricane Helene. So
that was rough before, and it's damn near impossible now. But you do a lot of climbing through, over, and under stuff. So just e-bikes wouldn't work for us. No. It'd be great. Physically, it would be a lot less taxing, but it would preclude us from going to 99% of the places.
And if I get too far ahead of you, you can just go beep, beep,
beep, blow the horn and stop you.
Yeah,
So
no problem.
But we'd love to, but just for right now, the places that we investigated,
they're just too difficult for us to carry. We would have to literally pick up the bikes and throw them over
trees. Couldn't get the bikes through some of those places that we were through right now. When you've got like 4 trees down, and we're trying to, I get caught, as a matter of fact, trying to go under a bunch of those, my backpack catches. Yeah. And Jesse sees something and we break our rule. That's coming up. I'm trying to get through and I'm just getting myself stuck more and more. It's cold, so we've got multiple layers on. We're bulky. So I just go, take the camera, run. And she just took the camera and ran after it. Yeah. So Alan Howe, never seen anyone compared to what Joe carries in the field. I'm shocked that there aren't more people doing this. Again, I'm constantly shocked that
because it's hard, Joe.
it's that people are again out there with and I mean, nothing wrong with the cell phone. We use cell phones to take photos of stuff, and there's gonna be some footage coming up that we filmed on a cell phone.
Yeah.
Because we were out of camcorder batteries and we were wrapping it up and something else happened. So it was good in a pinch, but that's not what we got to rely on. I'm surprised more people don't take it seriously enough to like invest in the equipment and then invest the time to learn how to use it. So Cool Crow Productions. Thank you for that.
Cool Crow?
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I've got some stuff I'm marking right now as we go along. If you want to go on that.
Yeah, I'll start going to it.
EDP. Okay, picturing Jesse right away from Joe has me cracking up. That's what it would be too.
Boy Hawk, arriving late. Has old Joe got a crossbow bolt flying at him yet? No, not yet. We have to get a target up for that for Jesse to shoot at it. And then I've got to get some extra bolts because I know that those first few shots, we're probably going to lose some.
And a helmet.
And a helmet probably for me, a crossbow bolt proof helmet for me. Jesse got a crossbow for Christmas a few weeks ago that we unveiled here that I made a joke. And I just said that
Thank you again, Denim Devil.
As I was sitting there building
for
it on
sealing Joe's face.
As I was sitting on the living room floor, putting this damn crossbow together, I had a moment where I just went, I feel like I'm in a Greek tragedy. It's like I'm sowing the seeds of my own destruction, like right here. And I see it coming and there's nothing that I can do to stop it. So,
kind of have like a Chekhov moment, you know, that shotgun above the fireplace.
If you introduce a rifle on the wall in scene 1 or act 1, you got to have it.
Yeah, there's a shotgun above the fireplace in this in a Chekhov play. It's the crossbow. Oh no!
If you introduce a crossbow into Helmet Holler, Joe has to get shot before February. So
I'll aim for the leg. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. Bob Olson, I think, amongst others, let's talk about the moss-covered quartz with the blue jay feathers.
I've heard some great theories on that, too, so you get into that. So.
Here's Bob's comment about it. Moss totally covered white quartz with blue jay feathers is really, I have never seen that before. It was interesting.
People had said that certain birds of prey, like hawks, will pick like a slightly elevated area to like eat their prey at. Sam Burton, I think, had said maybe a snake had eaten it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had said, though, that generally when they see that you just don't see the larger feathers, you see smaller feathers and stuff like that as well. So I don't know. I have heard the same descriptions that everybody else has, and, you know, I've had the same thoughts, but we have just never encountered that before. It might be nothing.
Yeah.
It might be something.
It was definitely something that kind of took us back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna present it as that. The X's or something. I'm telling you right now, the X's or something. That's undeniable. The circular stick thing that you'll see that's woven together, that's something.
Yeah.
The thermals that we got are something. The audio that we got is something. I guess they're blue jay feathers, bluebird feathers. I don't know. Is there a difference between a blue jay and a bluebird? I don't know. I'm not a bird guy. Where's Goshawk? Is he in here?
I'm not a bird guy.
He's our bird guy.
You want a bird guy? Go to the next channel over, bro.
But I don't know. All it was out of the ordinary from what we normally experience in these areas. So we included it.
It was something very odd. You know, it was something that definitely stood out.
And then when we realized it's quartz, it became doubly so odd. There were no feathers off that stack either. I'm just going, well, if it was like a hawk, like eating like a prey on this, it seems like it'd be a little bit messier, and the feathers would be off this pile. They were only on that pile. So
in the follow-up videos that are coming in this series, we kind of use that as we kind of experiment with that spot a little bit, and what we find there, we kind of experiment with it and try to maybe communicate using it. So that's just a little teaser on that one.
Good Lord, I'm behind in the chat. I hope you're somewhat caught up.
I'm marking some stuff as I go.
A boy JD Smooth, you think you're dealing with the Fae and they're trying to trick you? I don't know. I am probably, out of everybody that's involved in this sort of stuff, the one that is most open to the possibility of the Fae being like basically the types of entities that a lot of our ancestors interacted with, and they dubbed the Fae. Okay. I don't think we're dealing with like the Keebler elves or little men in pointed hats, you know, like gnomes running around out there. I'm talking about like the ethereal kind of presence that they called the Fae, that kind of weird, unearthly, something that's beside us, but from elsewhere, lives right along beside us, but has its origins elsewhere. I'm very open to that. A lot of the trickster type stuff that they describe in modern UFO lore, I think has direct parallels with what a lot of our ancestors were describing as far as like the Fae activity. Every culture has a trickster, figure that stands very prominent in its like pantheon of like power there at that point. You've got your harvest deities, your sky deities. There's always a trickster as well. And it seems like no matter where we go to, there's a force that seems to kind of enjoy bedeviling us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's more malicious than others. Sometimes it just seems like it's having fun at your expense. It's never friendly, but other times it feels a bit malevolent at that point. So
that it does.
Sploot, Jesse looked like a damn a jewelry store model the other day. Like she had so many. Oh, you got them on tonight. She had so many of your bracelets on. Is there a motion sensor that can be left temporarily to watch your back when you were in one spot for a time? I may realize this may not be practical. We had thought about. We've got something that we're kind of toying with on that. People, one of the things that we also always hear about, in addition to you're too loud, is you should have a rear-facing camera on you. And I always have to like kind of explain to people that the rear-facing cameras are really useful in certain types of terrain.
Right.
Everybody knows them.
If you're on a kind of a flat bit of terrain.
Everybody's familiar with them from Scott Carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott Carpenter did a lot of hiking in like the Smoky Mountains. And you've seen the videos where he's used the rear-facing cameras. It's mostly flat, maybe with a slight incline. It's cleared. It's fairly wide. It works well there. We just don't operate in those areas very often.
Yeah.
I think there's maybe one time in the past year that I've stopped and gone, rear-facing camera would be helpful right now.
Yeah.
But most of the time, and it's not as easy as just putting a camera back there. It's got to be on the back of your backpack. You've got to run external power to it. Action camera batteries usually only last about 25 minutes or so. Action cameras, those small cameras, are notorious for overheating, malfunctioning. I mean, the best in the business GoPro, you lose footage a pretty large amount of time. So you have to, it's a little bit more difficult than just doing that. But we're looking at doing something to kind of have a third set of eyes out there.
Yeah, Linda said that Scott pretty much stayed on trails. And he stayed on trails in the Great Smoky Mountains.
And he got some great stuff. He got some phenomenal stuff up through there. But for where we're at, I mean, I'm not walking upright a lot of times. A lot of times I'm moving around branches, trying to film, looking around. I mean, it's just not, and keep in mind, if we're out for 3 days and we are filming and exploring and out 16 to 18 hours a day, which is not a stretch. And now we have doubled the amount of video that we have to review.
Yeah.
And if it was worth it.
Well, we've been running a chest cam too on you.
Yeah, but at least that I can see where I'm at. I can see where it's at. I've got a chest cam going on. And that's for when we can't run the main camera. But that there's some value to it, because I know that the footage, I'm going to be looking at hours of footage that's worthwhile and usable, and the rear facing footage is just going to be like, days of footage that I just look at and go branches, trees, branches, sky, ground. It's just not going to be worth it. So
there you go. There you have it.
Pork chop, PCX. I'm curious how Jesse felt about that pine tree area in the last expedition. That place had a palpable vibe even over the video to me. Really? Because that area is claustrophobic.
Very claustrophobic.
Very claustrophobic.
It's very claustrophobic, and you don't know when something is right up on you, especially at night. At night, it really gets scary because you can't see anything. And those pine trees, they're at the perfect height. If you're in a pine tree forest and they're mature pine trees, you can see straight through it. That's where we love to operate in.
That's awesome.
Because it's quiet, because it's pine needles, it's pine bedding on the floor, on the ground. And you can just see for a distance. You can see all around you. But when they're immature trees like that, it is so thick, and there is no way you can see beyond this.
Yeah.
So it's just nerve-wracking more than anything. Especially when you start hearing things moving through the brush nearby. I think that's what kind of freaks you out. And we kind of have to get out of that area at one point.
Welcome, Edith Gomez. Howdy from Texas. Love it when you're out and about. It's an adventure watching. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Edith.
I got some stuff marked down there we'll go through.
All right. Have you guys had any paranormal activity since your Halloween episode you did, the Estes method? Has anything followed you?
I've had weird, I'm also working on my contact experiment project. So I'm also
it's hard to delineate
the source of
exactly.
some of this stuff. I've been having weird premonition stuff lately, but I think that's part of my contact experiment project, that I'm having premonitions and I'm experiencing things before they happen. So that happened this morning, which was pretty cool. But we've not had any ghostly stuff.
Honestly, it's been, up until this case, it's been pretty quiet since Halloween.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't really have a lot of, we had to go to CryptidCon. That took a little bit of time, but we didn't have any field investigation videos for a bit because it was quiet, man. And we were going out. And, you know, I used to get worried. And I've talked about this in the past. I used to get worried because obviously our goal is to look into strange phenomena. Well, you need strange phenomena to look into if that's the case, and you have no control over that. And I used to always worry, man, what if the next weird thing that we experience is our last? What after that? We just never experienced anything weird at all. Luckily, we've had a pretty sufficient pattern, and I think my pet theory is that because of the experiences that we have had and the stuff that we've run into, they always say that as you start to look into this, the frequency of your experiences kind of accelerates a little bit. And I'm going to say right now that I'm agreeing with that theory. So, but it was quiet after Halloween. It was weird because I came away from Halloween thinking that it was going to be crappy and that something had latched onto us, especially with that EVP and everything. But it's pretty quiet up until this.
Yeah.
And even as far as like the weird stuff around the house, which we have spells of that. We have spells of that. But
I also have a house full of.
We're also in like a 120-year-old house filled with like haunted objects. So.
Yeah.
But even then, it's been kind of quiet after Halloween. You have to admit, it's been pretty quiet. So, all right.
Pork Chop was saying about that pine forest. Joe got a really loud vocalization, I thought, in that pine tree area. So we're in the pine tree area. Just below it is a mature forest. That's where that vocalization came from. We had to work our way around and then down into that. The pine tree area where it's like immature pine trees, that was cleared off at some point in time. So it's like a big open clearing area that we went into kind of the center of. And then that's when we heard that in the distance. And we worked our way around and then out of that pine tree area and into the more mature forest, which is down below it where we actually found that old burial ground. Get some lay of the land there.
Yeah. And we've got some other weird audio coming out. Brian's in the chat. He wants a knife check.
What's up, Brian?
I'm carrying a fairly small knife for me today. I'm carrying a Cold Steel Immortal. I forgot what the name of it was for a second. It's been a while since I've carried it.
Armadillo Immortal.
Yeah, I mean, I struggled with Armadillo. Aardvark. Where'd that come from? And as I was scrolling through the chat, there was just like 50 people going, Armadillo, bro. Watch now. We'll see an aardvark. It'll be crazy. One will escape from like. Is that considered an exotic animal? Would they have that?
An aardvark? Yeah, that's pretty exotic. I'd say. There's two A's at the beginning.
That's pretty exotic.
That's
very, and like it's super exotic. So
a Zardbark.
Yeah.
I have a Bruja, which is a derivative of the Elvia, which is from Turner C&C. That's a little sharp boy right there. Look at that bad boy. Oh yeah, the Bruja.
Chanel wanted to know if we ever go to Virginia. I grew up in Virginia, went to school in Virginia. We have not been there investigating, but Southwest Virginia is probably in the top 3 most active spots, at least in the continental United States. It is wild the amount of stuff that's going on in Southwest Virginia. So if we do go to Virginia, I'm hoping we would actually get into that area.
Oh, we need to get to the drone stuff at some point in time.
We'll get there, man. Everybody's having a ball with this. What are you talking about? Everybody's talking about drones right now. We'll go into a little bit. Cryptid response, whatever happened to this Cerberus prototype, Joe? That is still gets trotted out. Did I release that publicly?
The Cerberus?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I had a gadget that we called the Cerberus after the three-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld in Greek mythology. The frame I was using, this will be a little cryptic. The frame that I was using for it was not workable, and it didn't really work well on the move. So we have a stationary kind of version of it we use right now. But my original, I'll probably circle back to that now that
we're going to have to probably go to metal parts for it because of the weight.
Yeah, that's
it's more cumbersome. The weight of the 3 cameras is it's a little too much for a plastic unit. But you know what? Eventually, we might have to get something 3D printed. Yeah. But we're gonna have to go to something metal for that. But the Cerberus is on the back burner. But now I guess the Cerberus is coming back
out of retirement. So yeah,
the dog is returned.
All right, let's see what else we've got. I'm marking some drone stuff here.
Moondog's sick of this drone crap. I figured everybody was asking about it.
Yeah. So. You guys hit the like button if you don't mind, man, or don't. I don't really care. I've given up.
He's very aloof today.
Very aloof today, but if you want to do it, if not, just kick back.
You know what? Bucky Claus is here. We don't care about it anyway. I'm gonna put a link for the shop in there if you guys want to check out the Hellbent Holler shop. See, I'm not selling boner pills. I'm selling hoodies.
Hellbent Holler logo boner pills. Now it's another story.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. You came up with an idea for that.
I did. I told you, yeah.
Do you want to share that, or somebody to rip it off? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
So Jessica,
of all the things they rip off from us all the time, this is going to be the one that'll actually work for them, huh?
We were joking about doing Hellbent Holler branded gas station boner pills, and I was going, you got to give them like a Dogman theme or something like that. And Jesse says, we'll call it the
Dogman Red Rocket.
There you go.
Love it.
Hey.
I want to take a moment to talk to you all about Hellbent Holler boner pills.
So we've talked about this in the past, that as the channel has grown, obviously if we won the lottery tomorrow, that we'd freaking have a helicopter and everything like that. But as it is right now, we're self-funded, obviously.
We're pushing these boner pills.
Yeah. So, but we get like sponsor offers like all the time. But it's usually things weird stuff that has nothing to do with anything we do. And they don't just want you to sponsor it. They want you to stop in the what is it called, mid-reel or something like that? Mid-reel ads?
Yeah, something like there's a term for it.
But they want you to stop in the middle of what you're doing and then shill for whatever they want you to do. And I'm going, we can't do that. I mean, what we do is not scripted. What we do is we're in the heat of the moment. I can't stop and turn around and go, we'll investigate those strange noises in the woods in a moment. But first, I want to talk to you about term life insurance, But we were thinking about doing actually a fake one like that and push the Hellbent Holler gas station boner pill product. So anyway.
Oh, Pork Chop says the Nut Buster.
Show's done. We're not following that.
So much for that high road.
Denim Devil says vampire bats can sense infrared with their noses. They can sense infrared with their noses. It's a slightly more sensitive variation of you feeling heat from a stove with your hand. They can't see it. Dogs can't see it. No warm-blooded mammal, every time they think that they've got one, it never pans out. Reindeer can see into the ultraviolet range, which is the opposite end of the visual spectrum. But it's cold-blooded creatures that have the ability to see heat. And so maybe, now here's the deal, if they're able to physically feel an infrared light from 100 yards away, we've gotten beyond the normal touch portion of the 5 senses at that point. We're into new territory. And that might be it. It's just that they're not seeing it in a traditional sense of seeing it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see what else we got here.
Somebody said something about the Skint Picker Ranch. We're going to tie all this together. And you know what? And then we're retiring. This is what we're doing. It's going to be t-shirts and paranormal boner pills.
So Scott Taylor had asked way back in the day, what are your opinion on these drones?
At the beginning of the episode.
At the beginning of the episode, what are your opinion on
get into
these
the drones.
drones? We have been following this pretty freaking closely. It has been wild to watch unfold. And what has been crazy to watch unfold is something that we have talked about on here time and time again, that in the information age and having access to the web, the internet, information has the ability to flow further and quicker than it ever has in the past. Information has the ability to be suppressed faster and more thoroughly than it ever has in the past. And that's what you're seeing right now.
You're seeing this basically this information war in real time.
Tug of war in real time of just people posting stuff. It gets debunked instantly, clumsily, very incompletely, and then it just vanishes. Yeah. And then other people, and what's crazy is the general public is used to this now. We were watching on Reddit, people posting things that they were personally experiencing, and then the videos get taken down. So after a while, the videos would go up, people would post things, and everybody would instantly start going, save it and spread it, save it and spread it. Yeah. You got to download it right now and start spreading it everywhere to try to beat this.
Because they can't take them all down at once, but it's a whack-a-mole game.
Unless they friggin' take the entire internet down, at this point, people are getting wise to it. And so the drone sighting started off in some Royal Air Force bases over in Great Britain. And that was going on.
Today. Saban has an interesting one here. I hate to interrupt you, Joseph. He goes, oh, perfect timing. Y'all are missing that there was uranium mining in the 50s in New Jersey. Follows up with their freaking survey.
Dang. Huh.
Interesting point. I did not know that.
Well, here's where I'm going to go to with this, is that the drone activity started taking place on military bases over there. There has been drone incursions over top of sensitive sites in the United States. You got this flap that's going on right now. And what I think is going on is it's one of two things. Either there has been what we would consider NHI, non-human intelligence. Let's just call them UAPs, okay? UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, okay? And there has been an increase in those. And then on top of that, there are now bleeding edge technology, man-made drones being put up by factions of the government to try to figure out what's going on with the UAPs. So you have the orbs and the things that kind of display the 5 observables. And I actually shared one of those in our Discord. Somebody got one on camera. Let me get my finger in front of the camera. And it was going at a real good rate. And then it just whipped around. And I'm going, the G's on that had to be impossible to deal with. And it seems like even a drone, an unmanned drone, it would have just ripped it to shreds. So you've got possibly NHI, non-human intelligence activity. You have just cutting edge man-made drone technology going up, trying to see what they're doing. And then as word spread, I think they're flying mundane drones up there to kind of muddy the waters. So that there are photos out now of regular commercial, industrial, military grade drones that people can look at and point at and go, oh, see, this is all it is. And you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater with it. So all of the phenomena gets dismissed because one particular light ended up being something that's explainable.
So right now there's finish that thought and then we'll go into this part.
So what made me think that's a possibility is that there are at least 4 instances that I have seen, which means there's probably multiple more that I haven't seen, of an orange ball of light in the sky, moving in weird little directions, staying stationary, doing this. And then the drones with the blinking lights that don't seem to make any sense. Somebody said they're FAA compliant. And I've seen several people post things about what FAA compliant running lights look like, and they look nothing like this at all. These things are lit up like Christmas trees. And they said that if you were to go by FAA standards, it doesn't mean anything because it's all going on at once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have landing lights, these lights, that lights, emergency lights all going off. So you've got an orange ball of light that's here that's behaving strangely, that's just one solid color. And one of them, at least, it was pulsing, but it wasn't a flash, if that makes sense. You have two other drones, kind of always have to get my hands in the frame. Two other drones come in from the side, and these have the flashing red, green, white lights and all of that. One stayed off in a distance. The other drone came in closer to what you would call a UAP, got near it. It's moving around a little bit, and then it goes above it, kind of to get like an upper view. And then all of a sudden, it shoots right down to it, stays there right next to it, and then it falls out of the sky and hits the ground.
Just drops, yeah.
And to me, I'm looking at that going, I just watched two man-made drones go up to a UAP, and the UAP tractor beamed one of them, bullet up close, and then just disabled it and dropped it out of the sky. We've seen variations of that 4 times now. And that's what made me think there's multiple things going up there in addition to a cover, up. Now, the other thing that's going around right now is
the nuke thing.
That people think that these are top secret drones the United States government or a contractor under their control has fielded up there to look for radioactive material. And that might be true. That might be what some of these craft are looking like. If that's the case, if there's a rogue nuke or there's a potential dirty bomb or something like that, you can say, okay, that explains the weird looking drones that could be man-made.
Yeah. But the Enzo has a good point about this.
Don't explain the rest of the stuff. So if that's the case, and that's why those drones are up there, you always hear about how NHI are interested in nuclear weapons. So either we're up there looking for this and they're here checking this out and there's a little conflict going on up there, a little run-in every once in a while, or they've been up there all along and nobody's been looking up.
Now
everybody, so the non-human intelligence UAP craft have been there, and now there's a bunch of military drones up there, and now we're noticing what's been up there all along.
So Enzo Surreal has an interesting point here. He says the looking for nukes narrative doesn't really hold up. Drones would be the least effective way to look for it. Right. Unmarked vans with sniffers would be better. Fake gas company workers is even better than that. Yeah, because it's on the ground where these things.
Nobody's seeing these things during the daytime either. And here's the deal. All right, so if I was in charge of this and I wanted to do it without doing mass panic, I would go, we're going to be doing some air training, some Air Force training. We're going to be running some, so we're going to close down this sector of airspace, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be for a limited time. I know it's an inconvenience. We apologize. We're just trying to make sure that we have to sometimes test these things to make sure that the country is safe. And then put these drones up with no lights. Why do they have to have all these lights on them? I keep coming back to the fact that the main people in like UFO studies have talked about for basically centuries that these craft sometimes mimic man-made craft, but not perfectly.
Something is a little off.
Something's a little off with them. And that's for like, you had those strange airship flaps back in like the 19th century.
Yeah, you have like a dirigible that is not quite right,
Spikes coming off of it, crazy stuff like that doesn't make sense. And at a glance, it looks like it. It's like a mimicry that seems to be going on. So and that's what I look at is if they were wanting to do that, there's a lot of different ways they could do this. Tone the lights way down. Apparently the lights are not really doing much good because, I mean, they're already having to like close down like certain sectors of like airspace. They've had to move planes off of a military airbase because they couldn't take off or land because there were so many drones through there. So why not just go ahead and just shut it down under some pretext and then look that way? So I can't rule that out, but I'm on the same board with you. And you even have better rationale about it than I do. The unmarked vans and then the fake gas station workers would be far better and far more effective than what they're using right now. So the third option that I see, and it's pretty disturbing, is that this is a dry run because everybody keeps saying that catastrophic disclosure is going to happen.
Yeah.
The NHI is going to reveal itself whether we want it to or not.
Saban has an interesting point here.
That maybe, just maybe, they're trying to deaden us a little bit and go, if NHI does start showing up in numbers,
everybody's kind of mentally prepared for it.
Mentally prepared for it, or dismiss it. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. Usually these flaps run 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if this dies down like the ones have in the past, a month later, nobody's going to be really talking about it.
Oh, you remember that drone flap?
Oh, yeah, whatever. Wasn't that explained? Oh, yeah, that was explained.
Debunked. Debunked by decree, as usual. Not today, Saban says. Sabin, sorry. Joe, remember when I told you frequencies have color and vice versa? If you wanted to communicate data with a color spectrum, it could easily be done and at the speed of light.
And then and we were listening to some air traffic the other night where the pilots were all reporting laser strikes. From these drones, from these areas with drones in them, they were getting.
And my question was, okay, are these laser strikes? It's when people laser aid aircraft, and it can bounce into the cabin of the aircraft and blind the pilot. Correct?
Yeah.
So my question was, are people on the ground seeing these drones, and they're trying to laser these drones and accidentally lasering these planes, or are these lasers coming from the drones themselves?
The way that the pilots, at least dispatch, were describing it is they were coming from the drones themselves, and the air traffic controllers were just going through the checklist, exact time, duration, distance, direction, and are there any injuries from this?
Yeah.
And the pilots are just going, it came from here, it lasted this long, no injuries. We didn't hear of any injuries that anybody was reporting.
Yeah.
And usually that's an eye injury where they're actually hit in the eye with with lasers like that. So
1F Gear says, as a drone pilot, I'm 100% positive none of the sightings are drones. 100%.
Now they are catching people now, and here's the other thing too, is that people are trying to get their own personal drones up there
to get footage.
Like drone hobbyists, and this ain't the stuff that you get off Amazon. People that have like custom built drones,
or from convenience stores.
What the hell, man? That's the other thing that bothers me, is that a bunch of the government spokespeople that are coming out,
they're so out of touch.
They're struggling.
John Kirby was saying, "Oh, these are just drones you can get from convenience stores."
Yeah, I mean, the director of Homeland Security is the one who said that.
And no, so that was Mayorkas.
Yeah, Mayorkas said that people are just seeing regular airplanes. It's mass hysteria. And there are some drones. You can buy drones at convenience stores. And that's what people are seeing. And I'm going, this is like, and what's disturbing me about all this is that an official government spokesman will just look whoever's interviewing them right in the eye and deliver something with 100% confidence that you're going to believe them. That these are convenient store-bought drones up there for 10 hours that are able to evade the drones that the state police are putting up. Here's the other thing, is that the state police can't follow them with their helicopters or their drones because these things will cut their lights out, and they don't show up on night vision, and they don't show up on thermal. Now, anything with moving parts like that, whether it's an electrical or a gas-powered motor, is going to have heat.
Yeah.
It's going to have heat. And I don't care if you have a heat reflective or a heat dampening paint on there. There's going to be things saying, Terry McCullough said the same thing. They couldn't see them with the thermal. If nothing else, you should be able to see a cold spot against the night sky. The only way to really be invisible to thermal like that is to mimic perfectly the ambient temperature around you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly. Mimic it perfectly. Because otherwise the state police would go, follow that cold drone-shaped blob, okay? Or follow out that thing that's only 5 degrees hotter, but their thermals, I mean, some of these like helicopter-based thermals that the state police have are $100,000.
Joe, don't you know anything? It's FAA compliant
swamp gas. But we're watching something that I never thought I would see before. And it's just the government, I figured they had a plan for everything. But like I was saying, they'll sit there and they'll look dead in the eye of whoever's interviewing them and deliver a story that they say is what's going on.
Yeah.
And then 24 hours later, someone else is saying something completely different with complete 100% conviction. And I'm going, whatever is going on right now, they don't know how to respond to it. And they're drowning right now. Okay. They're like sinking. They're having a hard time. They're hoping that it stops, and it doesn't seem to be. And they're hoping that people will get tired of it and move on to something else. But all it's doing is having people go, I live in this area. I'm seeing this stuff every night. I'm being gaslit right now. This is not a convenience store drone that's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
The thermal thing is what's really weird, because I encourage all of you, when the show is done here, not until then, keep watching us. We're vain like that. But look at just some police.
We'll tell you when you can go.
It's some helicopter-based drone footage of like suspects fleeing on foot, or them following cars that are involved in chases. The detail's insane.
Oh yeah, that is next level.
We have really good commercially available drones. Police drones are like a whole, I mean, they're orders of magnitude better. It's a whole different world. And if they can't,
and the thermal technology, specifically what you're referring to.
Yeah,
correct?
the thermal technology, and even the night vision technology. They're saying that it's not apparent on night vision. They don't understand how that is. So I don't know. There's some, regardless of what's going on, and I don't think it's China or Russia.
Yeah.
Because I think if it was China or Russia,
would they have deployed some of this stuff during the war in Ukraine?
They would have told us this, remove ourselves from the world stage, that they're running things now because we can't match what they have.
Right.
Okay. This just, none of this makes sense, other than the fact that there's some sort of non-human intelligence going on with all of this stuff. So I don't know, man.
Jeff Matlow of Wildcat Tattoo says, if a drone hobbyist lasered an aircraft, the operator would be rolled up, waterboarded, anal probed, and charged with a felony. That's definitely a felony. My brother was a camera operator in a news helicopter, and somebody lasered the helicopter, and the police arrested the gentleman. My brother had to testify against him, and the guy went to prison for 10 years.
10 years.
He went to federal prison for 10 years for lasering a helicopter, because it's very dangerous.
Well, they've had people launch helicopters. One guy launched drones. One guy was a drone hobbyist. He was on Reddit for a while. He said that he launched his drone, and I don't understand. I'm not a drone guy at all, but apparently he had some setup that was going to skip frequencies between his controller and the drone itself to avoid detection. And he said that the government, took control of his drone within a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes after that, they rolled up on him. They had triangulated.
And when they shut down the airspace, you can't even take off when you're using a commercially available drone.
Yeah, and if you have a regular like DJI drone or something like that,
it's not leaving the ground.
It's bricked. You ain't taking off. They're not going to let you take off with it.
Speaking of the vanity of this show here, GoPack, who is a new person to join us today, says, I'm very intrigued by Bigfoot and subjects such as this drone thing, but it's hard to concentrate with hosts so attractive as Bigfoot.
GoPack, you're going to fit in perfectly here. Welcome.
You'll do very well.
You'll do very well here, sir. Thank you. So, or ma'am.
You will be blessed by Bucky Claws.
Anyway.
Many blessings from the Bucky Claws.
Here's where we're at with it, is that my gut instinct is one of two things is going to happen. Of course, these are pretty much the two only. So like I'm some sort of like great, like, you know, foresee of the future here.
The great prophet. Please tell us, great prophet.
Either it's going to stop or it's going to continue.
Hi, yes.
Indeed. Very safe guess here. Either it is going to stop over the next few days, and it's just going to stop. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here first. It's either going to stop, just like other UFO flaps. What was that back in 2020? The ones over Nebraska? Almost the exact same thing happened.
You mean the ones that's not still going on, so it stopped?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it's going to stop, and it's going to try to. You're going to see the ham-handed debunking coming out. And you're going to see people on public forums, social media, and everything like that go, oh, no, that was debunked. It was just this. And the public has a short attention span. They're going to move on to something else. Or it's not going to stop. And eventually, it's going to be handled. There's only a couple of ways you can handle it at that point. What are they going to do? Nighttime curfew, all citizens inside your house with your windows, your curtains closed from sun up to sundown, and do not look up in the sky.
Yeah.
Punishable by 10 years of hard labor, $100,000 fine. Because right now, all the usual BS responses, they've dug themselves into a hole. They can't get out of it. Because every time they come out with something, there are enough people going, you're lying to us right now. The credibility of the people who are coming out representing the government right now is probably about as low as it's ever been. Because when you're telling people that drones that you buy at a gas station are evading. You have drone operators with the state police that used to operate, predator drones overseas. They know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? The one guy that was the pilot for the Kentucky State Police and the helicopter used to fly Apaches. Okay. He's taken fire from the ground before, and these guys are going, couldn't catch him. Sorry, these are not just Barney Fife types. These are people that you would literally, they're the people you'd want to trust your lives to in public safety like that, and they can't deal with it. The federal government has lost, and even the local governments are going, tell us what's going on, man. Tell us what's happening. So I don't know. It's either going to stop, and then there's going to be a concerted effort to kind of make you forget that it ever happened, or make you think that it was debunked when it wasn't, or it's going to continue, and that's when things are going to get interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's when things are going to get interesting. Longer this goes on, the more likely it is somebody's going to finally just spill the beans and let us know what's happening with it. So
I'm ready for some bean spill.
I'm getting hungry.
Can we wait for after Christmas? Because I really just want to enjoy Christmas before these beans get all spilled. But
I want to bring this back up yet. So Enzel has a great one. That debunks that far better than I ever could.
I read that and I was like,
yeah, that's just phenomenal. That's just phenomenal. And now one of the things that's very interesting to me too is, and you never know what's just being like people acting a fool on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, but it's some of the other strange phenomena that are going along with these drone sightings, these UAP sightings in the air. People are sharing videos of their microwaves acting weird electrical stuff taking place in their homes. One dude was up on a hilltop and he was out of breath and he was filming and he's like, I got it. And there were like 3 or 4 parking lots filled with cars down there. And all of the like alarm systems were going off in these cars, horns going, headlamps going. And I'm going, as I'm watching it, I'm going, somebody has a bunch of friends and they were all down there smacking cars and he ran up to film it. It all stopped simultaneously. And then it all started back up again simultaneously. You start to get to the point where this is a prankster trying to prank you on TikTok doesn't hold water with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be real interested.
Even if it does muddy the waters on some of these accounts and these instances, it can't be everyone.
Yeah. So I want to see what sort of weirdness is taking place on the ground. So, all right, we're wrapping it up here in a few minutes, but listen, pay attention to it, man. And
Grace asked, are the people with weird electronic problems watching a Help It Holler live investigation?
Exactly right, man. I mean, if we hadn't experienced that, like,
crap, what if we kicked it off with that live stream?
Wouldn't that be crazy? Oh, I ain't even sorry.
Sorry, folks.
Well, if we get blown up, I'm sorry-ish, but well, you
have displeased Bucky Claus.
We're starting to have them in our area. They've been reported twice now. So we were out, but the cloud cover was heavy. So as this cloud cover kind of blows off, we're going to be out looking to see, because here's the thing, we've got better equipment than cell phones. We've got
full spectrum cameras. We've got full color night vision.
We've got full color night vision. We have full spectrum. We have thermal imagers. We've got low light cameras. We've got stuff that we can go out and set up stationary. And then we can also run, if we can do it close enough to where we can park at and then haul the stuff in, we can run a bunch of sensor technology.
Yeah.
We can look for ambient radiation, weird RF signals, electromagnetic fluctuations, all sorts of stuff,
Grace said something about this earlier, that all of these look like, or a lot of these look like what we captured at the Brown Mountain.
Oh no, the ones that they caught
a lot of these really just look exactly and behave like them too.
The ones that they caught over the nuclear reactor in North Carolina look exactly like the Brown Mountain
we showed that on the show last week, I believe.
The orange orb that disabled that drone that
looks exactly
shot it in, and that wasn't the drone, because the drone didn't move like that. It looked like it was pulled in by like a rubber band, and I just went looking at it and I went, tractor beam. That thing just got tractor beamed in.
Yeah.
And then dropped. That orange ball looked exactly like what we saw at the Brown Mountain lights.
I'm hoping the next week or so it's clearer out in the sky and we can actually get some footage of what's going on.
Weather modification machine is muddying the waters.
It is.
Bringing the cloud cover in. So.
Or winter.
All right. So, man, I'm like insanely behind in this chat.
Oh, and also you got a new nickname other than old Strap-on Joe.
What is that?
You're now also Oracle Joe.
It's either going to stop or it ain't.
You should be a weatherman.
I'm telling you, man, that's where I'm at. So,
And we're not gonna go super late tonight.
We're getting ready to wrap it up, as a matter of fact. So
because we gotta
but anyway, if you were out, I would suggest, as all of you do, don't take our word for it. If you've got a few hours to burn one night, again, Reddit, best and worst place on the internet by far. You don't get too caught up in the responses to the stuff that's posted. Matter of fact, I don't even read most of the responses that were posted. And what's really interesting too is, and I do want to throw this in real quick. Now I'll circle back to that in a second. But don't get tied up with the responses. Just look at what people are posting on there, and look at how there are actors on these online discussion boards trying to steer the conversation.
Yeah.
They either do it through ridicule, making fun of stuff.
It's the same
personal attacks.
Same playbook that's been used for years and years.
To try to make you feel ridiculous and stupid for entertaining this, even though somebody's posting video evidence. Right
Joke's on you. I feel ridiculous without you.
But they watch it happen, and watch how these things get taken down.
Yeah.
And watch the response of people right now. Something cool gets posted, and literally people are like, download it, save it, spread it right now before it gets to like deleted out.
Yep.
But anyway.
All right. A lot of everybody is calling tonight. Everybody's getting tired and
yeah, we're done.
We're ready to do it. If you go through the chat real quick, if you see something you want to throw out there, go ahead. I'll go ahead and do the thing. If you guys got anything else you want to throw on there, let us know. Got anything else you want to say? This is your last chance. Because we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it at all this, but keep an eye on the skies. Eyes on the skies, boys.
Eyes on the skies, man.
Somebody was asking, Steve Tichenal, I think it was asking, wonder what's going on with the Brown Mountain Lights since all this drone stuff started up.
Closed down.
The place that we got our footage from is closed down because of the hurricane, so it's inaccessible right now, as I hear it. The other area that you can go, Brown Mountain Overlook, our buddy Deathwish was up there over the past couple of days and saw nada. So not a lot, I guess.
Yep.
Not a lot. So it's interesting to think about.
All right, guys, we're wrapping it up.
Make sure you hit that like button. What is this? Boss Babe Mom. Jesse reminds me of Laura Croft. Heck yeah. All right. I'll take it. Thank you. I will always take that. Thank you very much, Boss Babe Mom. Yeah. Wrap it up at Boner Holler.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure if you haven't watched our latest video, we released it on Wednesday. What are you waiting for? Go and check out our latest investigation so you are ready for the next release, because this is the first in a series of many, because it is an ongoing strange story that we've received via email that we are investigating. So I want you guys to check that out. Keep your eyes on the skies and keep your notifications on. We want to thank the members for supporting this project. You guys keep it running. And if you want to get your order in for your Hellbent Holler merch.
If you order the Deer Skull shirts, which we have limited sizes on, keep in mind we are shipping those ourselves. And we are in the midst of one pretty time-consuming investigation. We are also going to have to drop what we're doing. If mystery lights start getting seen in the sky here regular, we're going to ship to that. So if you order a t-shirt, you're probably going to get it before Christmas. I'm just telling you right now.
Well, we are at the 16th right now. The 15th is usually the cutoff for that.
You ain't getting it before Christmas. And it might not even ship for like a week. We are not a t-shirt company. And if that is factors into your decision making. That's just for that one
t-shirt. Just
for that one t-shirt.
He's not great at this.
Just for the deer-headed skull t-shirt. Everything else is handled and it'll ship.
You just it'll be okay. Thanks,
we're
guys.
done.
All right, we're done here. We're done here. It's chicken pot pie night, okay? We got places to be. All right, thank you guys so much. We love and adore you. Hit that like button on your way out. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Good night, Hellbenders. Y'all are the best. Sayonara. Have a good day. We love you. Take it easy.